Hey y'all. Okay, so we're going to do our test corrections for our mood and tone test 2. This one is going in as a test grade. To do the test corrections, you'll need to listen to the story being read and then pick 3 of the most missed items that you want to correct on the sheet. All right, here we go. Read the selection and choose the best answer to each question. Then fill the answer in on your document. In 1944, Bird Thompson, having secretly earned her pilot's license, is traveling to Sweetwater, Texas to become an Air Force pilot. So the first thing, guys, that you need to make sure that you do is read anything that's in italics because this really tells you what's happening. Our main character named Bird Thompson secretly got her license, and she is traveling to Sweetwater, Texas to become an Air Force pilot. From Skies Over Sweetwater by Julia Moberg. The train pulls up to the station right on time. The conductor helps lug my trunk up the stairs and into my compartment. I sit down on the gorgeous, plush red velvet bench where I will be spending the next 12 hours. I run my fingers over it, realizing how long it has been since I felt anything so wonderful. Outside the window, the Iowa sun is starting to come up all purple and orange over the horizon. I think about Mom and my sister Charlotte, and I wonder if they're awake yet and if they've noticed I'm gone. And then I think about Pa, and it hurts. So I open my trunk and find my favorite and only book I own, West with the Night, by Beryl Markham. I get lost reading about her adventures flying her plane across the Atlantic. For a moment, I am disoriented and forget where I am until the grumbling clatter of the engine jogs my memory, reminding me that I'm on the train. My stomach is growling and sore with hunger, so I pull out the apple I pocketed. I'm about to take a bite when I look up and become aware of a set of eyes watching me attentively. A girl is sitting across from me. She is around 18, the same age as me. Her hair is a bright shade of auburn red, and her eyes are the color of ginger. She's wearing a crisp white blouse tucked into a pair of blue pants and freshly polished black and white saddle shoes. I stare at her, realizing I had never seen a girl wearing pants before. Mom would be appalled. "Got any more food on you?" she suddenly asks, her eyes fixated on the apple in my hand. Takes me a moment to remember that I also brought a banana. I rummage through my bag and hand it to her. She peels it open and then looks down at my book, which has fallen onto the floor between us. She reaches and picks it up. Beryl Markham sure is fearless, isn't she? Imagine being the first to fly across the Atlantic. I've probably read this book at least 20 times myself, she says, turning the book over in her hands. Gently, she presses her finger on a large brown smudge on the book's spine. Looks like you've read this a few times too. The smudge was actually from the oven. I had saved all my money for a month to be able to afford the book. I had to hide it safely away from Mom and Charlotte because it was about flying. One day, when I was sitting in the kitchen, engrossed as Beryl is about to leave her native land of Africa for her flight across the Atlantic, when the front door opened. I was so involved in my reading, I didn't hear it. And then Mom came into the room. She'd gotten off work early from her shift at the Red Cross because they ran out of bandages for her to roll. "You're reading about flying again?" she asked quickly, grabbing it away from me. "You know how I feel about this. Why you keep insisting on defying my rules, Bernadette, is beyond me." She opened the oven door and tossed my book inside. When I snuck back into the kitchen a few hours later to retrieve it, the heat from the gaslight had cooked the spine, leaving a smoldering black mark. Thinking about it all, I am ready to burst into tears. If the auburn-haired girl wasn't sitting in my compartment, I would be able to close the door and have a nice cry. But instead, I choked back the tears. "What's your name?" she asked abruptly. I hate this question because I always feel the need to offer an explanation after I answer. "Bernadette Thompson, but nobody calls me that except my mom." I hate it, actually. She gave me a rich-sounding name, hoping it would help me get a rich husband. Everyone calls me Bird. It's better that way. "Bird, I like that. So where are you headed, Bird?" "Texas." She laughs. "Well, that I figured. We're already in Texas, by the way. You must have slept all through Oklahoma. That's when I got on. You ain't going to Sweetwater, are you?" I slowly nod. I didn't even know we were outside of Iowa yet. Me too, she says, and our eyes meet. And before I know it, the tears start streaming down my face. And for a moment, I feel like I'm watching myself from outside of my body. She sits down next to me. What's the matter? Are you nervous about going to Sweetwater? She asks. And then I know why I'm crying. I shake my head. It's just, I've never met another woman pilot before, I tell her. The honesty, surprising even myself. I was convinced I was the only one, except for Amelia Earhart and Beryl Markham. That's why I'm going to Sweetwater, to find the others, to belong somewhere. The girl nods, and when our eyes meet, I know she understands. We sit together in the silence as the train rattles on, taking us closer to our future. All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to go through the 5 most missed. You only need to watch 3 of these. You may pick any 3 that you want. We're going to go over number 3, 6, 7, 9, and 10. So here we go for number 3. For Bird, going to Sweetwater most likely represents A, the opportunity to be a valued member of a group, B, her willingness to accept more responsibilities, C, her desire to learn from past experiences, or D, the chance for her to use her imagination. So the hint here is that Bird has secretly earned her pilot's license and she's going to Sweetwater to become an Air Force pilot. So the best 2 answers are going to be A and B at this point. Her past experiences with her mom, if anything, if they've taught her anything, they're that she doesn't belong there. And it has nothing to do with her imagination. The hint that makes this answer right is right here. That's why I'm going to Sweetwater, to find the others, to belong somewhere. So she's going to Sweetwater to have the opportunity to be a valued member of a group of people that understand her, so she belongs somewhere. So here we go. A is the best answer because Bird wants to find a place to belong. A is the best answer because Bird wants to find a place to belong. On to number 6. Number 6, read this sentence from paragraph 10. Let me go to paragraph 10 here like we do. When I snuck back into the kitchen a few hours later to retrieve it, the heat from the gaslight had cooked the spine, leaving a smoldering black mark. Bird's actions in this sentence best demonstrate her. So to be able to get this one right, guys, you had to have read the whole story and know the context. You have to know that she's off to Sweetwater to secretly become a pilot because she's run away and she's got her license, but she's going to go train. You have to know that she bought this book with all of her savings and that she has to read it in secret because her mom doesn't like that she likes flying. So right here, this is the moment where she sneaks back into the kitchen to get her book out of the oven that her mom tossed it in. So we want to know, what do her actions demonstrate? The fact that she went back to that oven to retrieve her book. Determination to make her mother respect her personal choices. No. She and her mother do not get along at all, and her mother definitely would not respect the fact that she went back in and snuck and got the book out of the oven. Persistence in pursuing her own interests despite the opinions of others. I'm going to say that that's probably the right answer because she has pulled her book out of the fire despite the fact that her mother is adamantly against her flying or becoming a pilot. Ability to have a positive outlook while encountering challenging circumstances. So while that's a really good distractor answer, nothing in this particular sentence suggests that she has a positive attitude or a positive outlook. Maybe she does, but it's not really obvious in that sentence, or it's too far. We can't inference that one. So C can't be right because it's not about positive outlook. And decisiveness about taking action to do what's best for her family has nothing to do with it. She's defying her mother by going to get the book. So here we go. B is the best answer because Bird wants to be a pilot despite her mother's wishes. B is the best answer because Bird wants to be a pilot despite her mother's wishes. The next one we're looking at is number 7. Number 7 says, which event initiates the rising action of the excerpt? So if you guys remember in a plot diagram, the rising action is going to be the thing that initiates the rest of the story. It's a decision that's usually made by the main character that like is the, let me find it. Let me find the guy here. Here we go. This one's easy. Okay, it's not actually really this simple in real life, but this simple diagram will work. So the exposition is where we introduce the characters and the setting. The rising action is all the actions and decisions and adventures leading up to that most exciting point of the story. So the most exciting point of the story is probably going to be the moment that Bird realizes, usually the climax happens at the end of the story, not really the middle. It's going to be the moment that Bird realizes that she's met another female pilot. She starts crying. So it's going to have to be something within the rising action, and they want to know what moment starts the rising action. So when do we go from meeting Bird and getting the setting to actually working towards that climax? So let me go back here. Okay, so A, the girl on the train tells Bird that they have reached Texas. That's not exciting. I don't think that's really going to work. B, the girl on the train notices the book Bird is reading. Actually, that's pretty good because they weren't talking at all until that moment. Bird was just sitting by herself. We heard about her life a little bit. We heard about the train. But once the girl notices the book she's reading, the girl also says that she loves that book. So all of a sudden, Bird is now paying attention. The next one, Bird is assisted by the conductor at the start of the trip. That's still part of the exposition. That's still introducing the setting. And Bird falls asleep while reading her favorite book. Same thing. Still part of the setting, still part of the introduction. So this is going to be our best answer. So here we go. B is the best answer because, I'm trying to think of the shortest way to say this. B is the best answer because when the girl notices the book, Bird realizes they have a common interest. Or, that they are going to be friends. B is the best answer because when the other girl notices the book, Bird realizes they have common interests. And, eventually that's going to lead Bird to realize that her new friend is also a female pilot, the first one she's ever met. All right, the next one we're going to look at is number 9, almost done. Number 9, what does Bird's explanation in paragraph 13 reveal to the reader? So this is a question about what something reveals. Again, you will have to read the entire story for this one to make sense. So let's go read 13. I hate this question. Okay, let's start at 12 because that doesn't make any sense. What's your name? She asks abruptly. I hate this question because I always feel the need to offer an explanation after I answer. Bernadette Thompson, but nobody calls me that except my mom. I hate it, actually. She gave me a rich-sounding name, hoping it would help me get a rich husband. Everyone calls me Bird. It's better that way. So here we see that her mom names her Bernadette and calls her Bernadette because she basically wants Bird to marry rich. She doesn't really care about what Bird goes on to do in her own right. So kind of an old-fashioned way of thinking. Of course, it makes sense since the story was set in 1944. So for number 9, what is her explanation in paragraph 13 revealed to the reader? A, Bird and her mother have different expectations about how Bird should live her life. I'm going to say ding, 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 because her mother expects her to just marry wealthy, and that's who her identity is. Bird wants to be a pilot, and she kind of separates herself from who her mom wants her to be by going by the nickname Bird. So she's kind of being rebellious there. Bird is not puzzled by her mother's motivation. She doesn't say she's confused by it. In fact, if anything, she sounds really frustrated by it. Bird's mother thinks Bird should spend more time helping support the family. No, that has nothing to do with that. Bird's mother disapproves the nickname Bird has given herself. Well, maybe she does, but it's not in this paragraph. So A is definitely the best answer. So here we go. A is the best answer because her mom hoped that she would marry wealthy. Or rich. We'll say rich because that's the word they use there. So A is the best answer because her mom hoped she would marry rich. Of course, Bernadette wants to become a pilot. So very different expectations about her life. Our last one we're going to look at is number 10. I promise I can do letters and numbers. Number 10 says, which event from the excerpt suggests that Bird will resolve her conflict? So in this story, Bird's conflict is that she has run away from home. She's on a train and she's nervous, but she's also hopeful. And she's never met another female pilot. She just wants to belong. So the ultimate conflict is Bird. Her problem is she doesn't belong anywhere, and she's trying to belong. So we need something that is going to show that Bird is going to resolve her conflict, that Bird is going to belong somewhere. Bird remembers she has food that she can share with the girl on the train. That has nothing to do with her feeling like she can belong. Bird discusses her book with the girl on the train. That could be it, because that's when they realize they have something in common. Bird explains why she dislikes her full name to the girl on the train. No. That doesn't have to do with anything with feeling like she belongs. D, Bird discovers that the girl on the train is also a pilot. In fact, she's so moved that she cries. And she realizes later that she's crying because she finally feels like she's going to fit in and have a place to call home. So the best answer is D. So here we go. The best answer is D because Bird feels like she will belong. The best answer is D because Bird feels like she will belong. So she's going to resolve that conflict. All right, guys, that's it. Remember, you just need to do 3 out of those 5. I will check you later. Bye for now.